The ruling Nepal Communist Party and the opposition parties have failed to determine whether the conflict-era cases should be dealt through political means or court procedures. This has made justice to the victims of the insurgency period even more elusive. Good morning, I'm Abhiday Shrestha, and these are the headlines of the hour. Judicial procedure delayed with politicization of conflict-era cases. Former Chief Justice Kalyan Shrestha says justice cannot be ensured with political trade-offs. Not making departmental chiefs responsible makes corruption at government offices uncontrollable. A single non-gazetted officer amasses up to 140 million rupees through illegal means. China warns the UK not to interfere in its domestic affairs amid a growing diplomatic row over the recent protests in Hong Kong. And hosts England thrashes New Zealand by 119 runs to advance to the semi-finals of the ICC World Cup. Johnny Bairstow shines with the bat with a century in England's win. The process of delivering justice to the victims of the conflict era has been further delayed due to the lack of consensus between the ruling and the opposition parties regarding the working procedures and leadership of the concerned unit. The ruling and the opposition parties have failed to decide if the conflict-era cases should be dealt through political means or through court procedures. Likewise, there has been a divide in deciding the leaderships for the Truth and Reconciliation Commission and the Commission of Investigation on Enforced Disappeared Persons. Leaders of both the ruling and the opposition parties have been adamant on appointing those close to them, further delaying justice delivery. The government has decided to reform both the commissions as the previous commissions failed to deliver despite extending their deadlines twice. Likewise, despite 3 months since a committee led by former Chief Justice Om Prakash Mishra was formed to recommend candidates for the commissions, the only works done so far is taking in applications. The then rebel Maoists and Nepali Congress have been found showing most interest in these two commissions. The former CPN-UML faction has put the former Maoist faction ahead for the case as well. Meanwhile, Nepal Communist Party co-chairman Pushpakamal Dahal is holding discussions with Nepali Congress President Sher Bahadur Deuba regarding the leaderships for both the commissions. Likewise, the former Maoist faction has stood firm on its stance that the conflict-era cases should be dealt with politically, citing court procedures would delay justice delivery and the process could be never-ending. Meanwhile, former Chief Justice Kalyan Shrestha has said justice cannot be ensured with political trade-offs. The former CPN-UML faction has stated that the cases should be dealt through court procedures. In regards to the Commission's leaderships, the Nepal Communist Party chairman duo KP Sharma Oli and Pushpakamal Dahal are on the same page. Nepali Congress has stated the procedures and the Commission's leaderships should be decided unanimously. Meanwhile, all the parties have agreed that the cases of Ramichap Doramba, the murder case of Lamjung's Muktinath Adhikari, and the incident of Chitwan's Bara Mure should be dealt through court procedures, as these cases have drawn international attention. The former Maoist faction has stated that the cases involving the state should also be dealt with through court procedures. However, it is questionable whether the government's decisions will be acceptable to the conflict-era victims. The Commission for the Investigation of Abuse of Authority, CIAA, has concluded that the government offices which have a flow of large number of service seekers as the most corrupt places. An investigation carried out by the corruption watchdog has found a single non-gazetted officer of amassing illegal wealth of up to 140 million rupees. The CIAA, however, has cleared the department heads of corruption. The CIAA has filed a case against the non-gazetted officer at the Immigration Office of the Tribhuvan International Airport, Lalit Kumar Jha, of corruption and for amassing illegal wealth, and has demanded a fine of 15 million rupees. It may be recalled that only a few days ago, the anti-graft body had filed a corruption case against 28 individuals, including the then chiefs of the land management offices of Banke and Bardia, Dirgaraj Pokhrel and Krishna Prasad Gyawali, respectively, demanding a fine of more than 400 million rupees. From both of these cases, it is clearly understood that the corruption is rampant in government offices with large number of service seekers. Based on the government findings, officials at the immigration offices, land management offices, customs and revenue departments, among others, have amassed millions within a span of 5 to 6 years. In another similar instance, the government has found out a radio operator, a non-gazetted officer at the airport customs office, has amassed 140 million rupees through illegal means. It is the primary responsibility of the departmental chiefs to control corruption. However, none of the departmental chiefs have put it in their priority. Likewise, the government has not taken action against these departmental chiefs under whom massive corruption is taking place. The scenario clearly shows the extent of corruption in the public sector. There is a general call for the CIAA to take the issue seriously and take necessary action. Welcome back. The government has established a national cyber security monitoring center to control cyber attacks. The center, established at the Communications Ministry at Singadarbar, will have information on potential cyber attacks on the websites of various organizations and government units beforehand. The center will monitor on potential attacks on government websites in its first phase. The Ministry of Communications and Information Technology has stated the technology at the center will be able to predict possible attacks from anywhere in the world and take security measures immediately. The ministry has also stated that the center would be used to provide information on potential attacks on the banking sector. Welcome back. Based on laws, measurement equipment used in shops should be registered and renewed regularly. However, majority of the measurement equipments being used in the markets are neither registered nor renewed. In this context, we had asked the businessmen in Panchthar and the concerned stakeholders whether it is difficult to register and renew the measurement equipments. Let's take a look at what they had to say.
Public voice.
काँटा हामीले चाहिँ नाप्तोल विभागको आएको सर्भरसँग हामीले त्यो काँटा लानै सकेका छौँ किनभने हामीसँग बिल 1 वर्ष अगाडि काँटा किनेको बिल छ उहाँहरू भन्नुहुन्छ 35 दिन 36 दिन भएको बिलले हुँदैन भन्नुहुन्छ उहाँहरूलाई सर अब के गर्ने यो समस्या भन्दा तपाईहरु यो काँटा फाल्नुस् अरु नयाँ काँटा लिएर आउनुस् भन्नुहुन्छ त्यो त समस्या हो नि
सालिने हामीले यो ढकपल्ला किन्ने चाहिँ यो प्रविधि चाहिँ अलि हट्नु ढक अब 60 किलोलाई 6 किलोको ढक चाहिन्छ भन्नुहुन्छ 6 किलोको ढक हुँदैन 2 किलोको किन्नु भन्नुहुन्छ अब सालिने किनेर चाहिँ ढक चाहिँ हामीले के गर्नको
लागि चाहिँ के गर्नु पर्यो विराटनगर झापा पुग्नु भन्दा यहाँ 24 घण्टा यही खोलो हामीलाई यी सुविधा भइदियो भने एकदम राम्रो हुन्छ.
And it's now time for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
And here's the question: why has a long-term solution not been pursued in regards to the waste management of the Kathmandu Valley? Your options are A, authority remaining indifferent, B, not in priority, and C, adultism. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B, or C, and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. And it's now time for the special segment, Glorious History.
On 3rd of July 1992, theoretical physicist Stephen Hawking breaks British publishing records when his book, A Brief History of Time, remains on the notification bestseller list for 3.5 years, selling more than 3 million copies in 22 languages. A Brief History of Time explained the latest theories on the origins of the universe in language accessible to educated lay people. The book was made into an acclaimed documentary in 1992, which focused largely on Hawking's own story. Diagnosed with Lou Gehrig's disease in his 20s, Hawking was told he had only 2 years to live. Despite the sobering prognosis, Hawking pursued his studies in theoretical physics, married, had a son, and died on 14th of March 2018 at the age of 76. On 4th of July 1776, during the War for Independence, the Second Continental Congress, comprised of representatives from 13 British colonies in North America, approved the Declaration of Independence as drafted by Thomas Jefferson. Jefferson is considered the primary author of the Declaration of Independence, although Jefferson's draft went through a process of revision by his fellow committee members and the Second Continental Congress. The document claimed that if a government was tyrannical, the people had a right to overthrow it, and because of Great Britain's oppressive acts against them, the colonies had the right to declare themselves free and independent states.
And that's all for the moment. Keep watching Kantipur Television HD for more news and entertainment. Thank you for watching. Have a good morning.